others to listen to as well. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining in. First meeting on Zoom, first time we are doing this, so a little bit of hiccup in terms of people joining in using the right links. So, Delighten, can I ask you to introduce yourself as the HR SIG lead from SAP side who's supporting us?
Hey, hi everyone. Thanks everyone for joining this first as HRSIG. The whole purpose of making this SIG was to make sure we be close with the customer and have more interactions with related to the topics which are more of HR centric rather than having more of success factors. Though we are covering success factors in this sessions and webinar, but the focus is to be more generic and keep more interaction between the customers. So I am Delighten. I'm the customer engagement executive and manage customers out there in India, especially West region. So Tata Communications is one of my customer and been working with them very closely. So know their success story, how they have done recruitment. So glad to have Rahul in this call and as well as Anand, who is working with a partner on Skillet. So I think happy to have them in the call. Thanks, Mukesh and Vinod, for helping out this, setting up this initiative for the customers. Thanks.
Thank you, Delighten. Maybe a quick round of introduction from all of us as well. My name is Mukesh Gupta. I always say when I introduce myself that my salary is paid by SAP, but I actually work for the customers because that's the only role that I have. That's the only responsibility that I have, which is to make the user group and the customers as successful in whatever they want to do and achieve. I'm not measured on anything else except for customer success. So welcome from my end. I support the user group Indus as one of my responsibilities. I help them in running all the communities from that perspective. So maybe we'll do another round of introduction. Rahul, Vinod, if I may ask you to introduce yourself, and then I'll hand over to Rahul, then Anand, and then everyone else can introduce yourself as well.
Thanks, Mukesh. Hi, everyone. I'm Vinod. I'm responsible for customer engagement for India. And I'm really thankful to Mukesh and Delighten for having kickstarted this SIG for HR. And the intent is to have monthly webinars at the very least, where we have special interest topics coming in. So for today, we have Anand, who's our partner, Skillet, and he would be talking about his solution. And we've also got a hopefully happy customer in Rahul Dataria from Tata Communications, talking about their implementation of this solution as well. So thanks to all who have joined in the call, and we look forward to making it a bigger forum going forward.
Super. Rahul, if I can ask you to introduce yourself.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rahul Dhatria, and I basically lead the global HRIS, HR shared service, and analytics for Tata Communications. Thank you very much, Delighten, Vinod, and Mukesh for organizing this, because I think this is a good platform to understand how the customers are using the solution more innovatively. And I think I'm happy to share my experience, and I'm sure others over the period of time, others will share their experience. And I think it's a good learning and exchange of ideas. So I think, thank you very much for organizing this. Thank you.
Thank you. So maybe Anand, if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Mukesh, Delighten, and Vinod. So I'm co-founder and chief business officer of Skillate. So the good part is, I believe we have started our company journey along with SAP, wherein we have started our journey with Shraddhanjali Rao, HR head SAP India, and Dilip Khandelwal, the two people who have onboarded us as the part of SAP Startup Studio, to now some of the active engagement what we are making along with SAP and SAP ecosystem to leverage some of the AI capabilities, which we will discuss with time. So a team of about 35 people now spread across multiple locations. But the journey started with this location where I'm sitting right now, which is SAP Labs Whitefield, wherein we were just three founders speculating things. But now I think some really great customers have given us a lot of confidence. and a great friendship with Rahul, I believe, wherein we share a lot of common ideas and a lot of product features even, right? If I'll go very micro, so very product feature, and I believe I've met him in his office a couple of times already to see how and what we can do together.
Thank you. So maybe if I can ask Hemlata, maybe if you can quickly introduce yourself as well, and then Shweta and team, if all of you can give your names as well, so that we know who all is on the call as well, and introduce yourself. I mean, since I can only see Shweta A, Shweta A, Shweta A, I'm wondering who else is on the call. So looks like Hemlata dropped off. So Shweta A, someone, yeah, maybe if you can introduce yourself as well, sir.
Hi, this is Shashwat, and I have Shweta along with me. I'm sorry, there's a glitch in a laptop for the mic, I believe, so we connected from my system.
No
So I have
problem.
Shweta with me, I have Preeti and Pujita. So we are from the talent acquisition group from LTTS. And from our other locations, we have Simeon and Selva who have joined in from Chennai. And we also have Swami with us, who is from the TA group as well.
Super. So thank you so much. So maybe if I can ask Rahul to take it away and share your story so far.
Okay, thank you, Mukesh. So I think so I'm not going to share anything. I'm just going to share my experience of working with SuccessFactors and how we have basically used this solution more innovatively and how we are making our talent acquisition, entire talent acquisition process more customer centric and more productive in that way. So I think before I get into the specific discussions, I would like to basically ask the participants if there is any specific area you would like us to address during this discussion. I will be happy to do that. If there is anything you would like us to touch base on.
So if there is anything, you can also put it on the chat so that we can continue to monitor that as well. So
that's great. That's great. Okay. See, with Tata Communication, let me start. Tata Communication, we started our journey with SuccessFactors in somewhere in 2011, and I think it's been around nine plus years. I think at approximately 10 years we have been on SuccessFactors. When we started SuccessFactors, some of its products or some of its modules were in the beta version, especially the EC. But now I think we are using it almost completely, SuccessFactors. Now, specifically coming to the talent acquisition, because that is one of the most critical function for any of the organizations, because this is from where you get the talent into the organization. And I think most difficult also, because in this, there is a lot of escalation if you basically don't deliver the requirements on time. So I think it's a high impact function. So I think with Tata Communication also the issue is the same. And I think, so if you look at multiple issues which we were facing in Tata Communication, one was because every time whenever there is an open job requisition, we have to basically source the resume and then basically send it to the hiring manager. Sometimes it's 15, 20, 25 resume he has to go through, and he has to waste a lot of time in that. So I think a lot of issues were coming. So that was one of the issue which we had in hand. Second issue which we had in hand was basically the gender biases, because when we look at the data, we felt that yes, there is some level of gender bias which is going on in the recruitment process at the time of filtration. So how can we as a system can enable this where we can manage the gender bias? So that was the second issue we were just trying to solve. Third issue was more around, I think SuccessFactors has certain limitations when you look at the duplication of the resumes. The duplication get checked through your name, your basically telephone number, and few attributes only. But I think that wasn't successful because most of the time, especially in the APAC region, the people, they can change their mobile numbers or email address. Then it's difficult to find out the duplication, and which was causing a lot of financial impact also on us. The reason being because because we have to pay double fees to the different recruitment agencies also with whom we are working, and sometimes we already have the resume, but I think we have not gone through, so it creates a lot of problem in that way. So I think that was the third problem which we had in hand. And I'll come to the fourth problem in a while, where the offer letter generation, and this project I have just recently completed and it's in the UAT right now. How can I make the entire offer letter generation a zero human touch process? And we have just developed it, and it's in the UAT, and I'll touch base on that in a while. So I think looking at these three top problems of the talent acquisition team, so I think with us, we looked at, there were multiple products which were available in the market, and I think technically Skillate will also get into Anand, my friend Anand will get into the details of how the technology is helping that. So I think we use one of the platforms where we basically integrated it with SuccessFactors. And I think the beauty of using the SuccessFactors is it gives you lots and lots of flexibility from the integration point of view. And I think I was really amazed, because when I look at, because earlier I was just thinking it's difficult to integrate with the SuccessFactors, and now I think with the kind of openness they have shown, especially the SuccessFactors platform, it gives you a lot of flexibility to integrate different systems. And I think some of the systems like Skillate, which I think Anand will talk about, that it integrates very seamlessly. I think the flow of data between the platform is very, very seamless. So most of the time you never get to know how the data is flowing between these two systems. So I think he'll talk about these two things. So I think we basically shortlisted the platform, and then we implemented the platform in which whenever the application comes through the ATS, it first gets into the platform. There basically the AI engine, it basically does the matching with the requirement, because the job requisition is also getting into that platform. It basically just does the matching, and it gives the star rating or the percentage rating of the match, let's say 60% or 70% match. And then basically you get to know, okay, these are the 50 resumes which has come. You can arrange them into a descending order, and then you can just pull out the top 5 ones and then share it with the hiring managers, so that they don't have to go through the 50 or 20 or 15 resumes. You just get to know about you just share with them the 5 resume. So I think that is the operational part of it. But the beauty of using the artificial intelligence engine is because it learns of its own. Because see, it's not the simple, you can say, elastic match which it is doing right now, but it is learning. So more and more you use these AI engines, more it learns what sort of profile against what sort of job requisition the company they hired. So I think it basically keeps on learning, and over the period of time it becomes finer and finer and finer. And I think Anand will talk about in more details, but I think that is a beauty. Although these algorithms, especially Anand, they are being trained on millions and millions and millions of resume. So I think they already have the capability. Some sort of fine tuning is required, which I think takes around 3 to 6 months, or sometimes 9 months also from the organization point of view, when you fine tune and it start predicting you the right results. So I think that was a very good thing we did, and I think our business managers were really happy, because now they just need to look at 4 or 5 resumes, and they were able to shortlist from it. So I think that was one of the problem which we solved using this. The another problem which we had was basically, if somebody has any question, please raise your hand or put it into the chat, and I think I can address that immediately. So the second problem which we had in hand was basically about the gender biases. We we realized that there was a level, and we looked at the data, and then we looked at, yes, there was a certain level of gender bias which was happening at the initial level of filtration. So and so that was, you can say, that was a hypothesis which we had based on the historical data which we looked at. So I think we wanted to kill that hypothesis. We used the same algorithm. I think in that algorithm, when the resume was traveling through ATS from this platform into SuccessFactors, it was basically neutralizing the resume. When I say neutralizing, it was basically neutralizing the gender element in the resume, so that after looking at the resume, you don't get to know whether it's a man or a women based resume. You just get to see the achievements and the details of the resume, and that is on the first. So once it gets filtered, and when the managers ask us to schedule the interview, that is the time when they get to know the names and other details of the resume. So I think at this level we were able to manage that, and I think we have seen a good success in the first level. And I think at the overall also we have seen a good mix getting to the final stages of the hiring. And then definitely at the hiring stage, we our DNI team and our talent acquisition team, they just put an effort just to make sure we are hiring a gender balanced workforce in Tata Communication. The third issue which we had in hand was basically the duplication. And I think that was a very, very big issue, because last year only I paid close to 80,000 US dollars, which was basically a huge amount because of these duplication errors. And the error was because, see, sometimes the people, they change their mobile numbers or the email address. So I think it was creating a lot of problem for us, and we were not able to track the duplication. So I think, again, with the help of the AI engine, the same algorithm, and I think Anand will get into the details, we were able to use, when the resumes get through the ATS into this platform, and if there's any resume which is already present in your database, it basically does the resume to resume match, and it tells you what is the percentage of overlap it has with the other resumes who is there in the database. You can set up your own threshold, 60%, 70%, 80% match, and then you can basically throw the promptness to the recruiter, so the recruiter can physically go and look at it, and then he can basically look at whether it's a duplication or not, and then he can basically manage the process flow in that way. So I think in this way, and I think there are multiple combinations which is being used. Anand will touch on those. So it's a combination of the education, it's a combination of the work experience and all those. So it reads the entire resume, and I think some of you who have worked on the NLP side, so I think you will be able to understand how the entire thing works. So I think it matches the two things. So I think these were the three things which we were able to crack, especially for our hiring managers. So now if you look at what is the benefit we have got, is definitely the productivity of my hiring managers have increased. The reason being because now they don't have to invest their time in going through the 15-20 resumes for each JR. So and I think now they have to go through 5 resumes. If you just look at 5 to 7 minutes each resume, then you can multiply that with the 10 or 15. So that is the time, productive time of the hiring manager, the business manager, you are saving in that way. And similarly, you are also saving a lot of time for your recruiter. So instead of earlier, if he or she was handling 5 positions, by handling so much of volume of the inflow of the resumes, now they are just handling more than it, which could be around 60 to 70% of more workload they can handle. So I think this basically helps you to look at the business case or the justification how you are doing that. I think some of the platforms also have the beauty where, and I think we are getting into the situation, or let's say into the environment where I think everything has to be social. When I say everything has to be social, I think these platforms not only helps you to look at look at the sourced resume or somebody when they are applying, but they also get into the other social platforms and basically source the match and then shows you which is the perfect match for you. These social platforms could be LinkedIn, your Twitters, and other things also, which helps you to understand what are the different matches you have in the market, because every time you don't have to be dependent only on the recruiter. Some of these platforms also have the marketplace, where they just push the requirement into the marketplace. Then there are different recruiters who are there, and then they can basically submit their resume against the requirement, and whosoever gets selected get paid, which is just like a marketplace of the recruitment they have created, some of them. So I think that is another beauty they have. These platforms are equally important because there is one more issue which I would like to highlight over here. Sometimes when we basically write down the job descriptions or the job requisitions, we may just be focused on what is what is that we need right now. We may not be looking at something which we may need in the future, because sometimes we may not have the exposure or the understanding how the things or how the jobs will evolve in the market, or how they are evolving in the market, or how the company strategy will change and evolve, because it create that. I think some of these platforms also have things called adjacent skills. Let me give you the example. Somebody who have worked on JDK, which is core Java, for him, moving into Hadoop will be relatively easy. And the adjacent skill is the Hadoop. So a lot of people who were used to work on the core Java, now they are basically specialized in Hadoop. So when you are looking for only core Java, so I think you get the adjacent skills also. And they have the skills library also attached to their platforms, which will help you to basically, when you are having, once you get the requisition, when you are having the discussions, which we call it as a synergy discussions with the hiring managers, you can basically put the words into their mouth, which will push them to start thinking in a broader way, like rather than just in the narrow way. I think these platforms help you to do that. The reason being because they are being trained on the, I can say, just like the universe. So and I think they give you a lot of exposure of how, let's take the example of head of HRIS is evolving in the market, and they will basically pop up a lot of things. So which is definitely the second thing which you can do and have the better engagement or consultative type of engagement with your hiring manager, because rather than a hiring manager thinking, okay, just push it to the TA and I think he will source the resume and he will give it to us. So I think this will help you to become more and more of consultative TA person and consultative approach, a consultant to the hiring manager, rather than just sourcing and giving them or managing the operations. So I think that is the second flexibility which you can have, which is again a great thing. So I think there are a lot of features which you have in some of these platforms. And I think Anand will touch on this, will also have the specifically, for example, for any job, you only want to basically source the women candidates. So I think they also have the filter where you can just put that filter and you only get the women candidate, because sometimes I think a lot of organizations, they are under DNI pressures and they have to basically source a lot of diversity resumes and all those things. And I think these platforms help you to basically manage that way also. So I think my say is that, because I have been using this platform for I think almost for 3+ years, and I think I have seen a lot of benefits of it, because this platform, we not only use it only for the hiring, but we also use it a lot of internal things. For example, the same algorithm, we use it for the IJP, which is internal job postings, when our internal employees, they apply. Because as soon as they apply, they quickly see the match against the job and they know that their probability of getting selected or not. We are using the same algorithm. You don't have to get the different algorithms every time. The same algorithm can be used. Similarly for the referrals, because a lot of organizations, they have a lot of referrals policy. So I think referrals, sometimes the employee, they just dump the resumes and then they keep on chasing the TA team or your shared services. What happened? I have already submitted and all those things. So I think these algorithms can help them, because when they basically upload the resume, they see what is the percentage match against the open positions you have, and then they can specifically submit around the same job opening, and then where the probability of getting selected will be high in that way. So I think the reason is this, because it's not only the TA, but other affiliates of the TA can also be fulfilled using these algorithm. So I think that is what I wanted to share, and that is how we are using this algorithm internally. Now coming to the last point of offer letter. So I think if you look at in the offer letter part, I think the entire process is, after the job requisition moves into to be offered, then there's offer approval forms which get generated. After the offer approval form, then basically somebody prepares the offer letter based on the different templates which we have in the system, and then they basically select the different clauses which is applicable based on the different scenarios, QBR, which is quota bearing resources, non-quota bearing resources, and especially if you're working in a global organization, then it varies from country to country. So I think what we have done is, up till offer approval form, it's there in SuccessFactors only. But after that, I'm pulling that into my platform, and that platform we have developed on open source. So it basically gets the information there, and based on the based on the selections in the offer approval form, all the clauses get automatically pulled. So it means the offer approval form need to be right, whatever selections we have built in there. So everything, all the clauses automatically get pulled, and the offer get generated, and it gets pushed into the DocuSign. From the DocuSign, it goes to the candidate. As soon as the candidate accepts it, then it basically comes back and push that acceptance into the SuccessFactors, so that it basically changes the bucket. This functionality of DocuSign is already there in SuccessFactors, but I think we have designed the platform outside SuccessFactors, so we have to use the enterprise version of DocuSign, which we already had, and I think to design this piece. So I think so I've just implemented it for India right now, and the UAT is underway, and then will be replicating for the other locations over the period of time, and I think I'm able to achieve what I was looking at. So I think that is in a nutshell how we have done that. But I think before moving ahead, I would just like to ask if you have any question or any queries you have posted, anything.
I don't think there are any questions on the chat yet. So anyone on the call has any questions for Rahul so far? So Rahul, I will start. During this entire process of implementing this solution, what were probably the top 2 or 3 challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
See, I think the biggest challenges, and I think which Anand was able to resolve with his solution, which is Skillate, is the integration with SuccessFactors. That was because although it has an open platform, the APIs are open. But when you go for any other platforms in the market, the version of APIs are always different. I think on SuccessFactors we have OData, which is I think 2.0 if I'm not wrong, and I think some of the other platforms, they are on either on 1.0 or they are not using OData, they are using simple APIs. So I think that creates a lot of problem. That is one. That is one part of it. And second is because when you are basically getting the managers to work in SuccessFactors, because your core module in SuccessFactors, then you want every data to be in SuccessFactors. For example, when you're getting the rating on the resumes, so that rating need to be pushed into the SuccessFactors only. So I think these were the few challenges which we had earlier. So I think the integration itself was definitely difficult. And I think with a product like Anand will present, which is Skillate, I think they have a seamless integration because they are an SAP incubated company only. So the integration is seamless, the data flow is seamless, and I think the kind of features they have enabled is, I think it is basically supplementing SuccessFactors. So I think these were the 2 major challenges which I saw. The third most important thing is, see, when you are using AI, you need to keep a patience, which is very, very important, because see, you cannot say, okay, from the day one, yes, you will start getting the results from the day one, but you have to basically fine tune it, because it's artificial intelligence, and the intelligence need to be fine tuned. Because when you hire somebody new into the team, you also train them. Okay, no, this is the way we look at the resume. These are the things we look at. So you also invest that times in the new hires. So similarly, you need to do that. But if you are able to train, and I think which is not a very, very difficult, very, very easy, then you reap the results, I think, for years. So I think these are the 3 things I would.
So if I understand correctly, what you're saying is that there was a bit of a difficulty or a challenge when it comes to integration, which Skillate addressed. And there is a little bit of change management or expectation setting that also needs to be done internally in your organization, right? So was there any, how do I put it, expectation mismatch that you had with your business stakeholders? Did they expect it to somehow magically give them the right candidates, or how was the experience from that perspective?
See, I think that's right. But I think as I told you, so I think we wanted to go right first time. So I think we invested a lot of time in training the algorithm in the Tata Communication way. I think we invested.
And how long did it take? So if I may ask, how long did it take?
it took me around 3 to 6 months to train that. The reason being because although I have a lot of historical, because in organization generally you don't have that much of historical data with you. So I think if you have enough historical data, then the time period could be less. But if you don't have that is too many historical data which can help you to fine tune the algorithm to your way, so I think then you need to wait for the time so that the flow can the resume flow can come in and it can just fine tune and do that. uh, See, generally I use AI in a lot of other processes of the HR also. So I think the approach which I use is once I put it into the production, I don't go big bang. Yes, this is something Eureka which we have invented. So I just keep it as low at the back end, and I pull out the recommendation and start pushing it to the managers and look at the managers' feedback, which will help me to basically retrain my algorithm over the period of time. So which is basically the approach.
And just to get a sense of the entire recruitment business or recruitment process, how many CVs do you get on an average, if there is a number that you can share?
See, we get a lot of resumes. I think if you look at my internal database, that has close to 10 lakh, sorry, 10. So if, sorry, so.
Yeah.
Am I audible right now? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you look at my internal database with that has 10 lakh resumes and against that, so I think we get a lot of resumes. So it's difficult to put the number to it, but yes, we get huge volume of resumes. And I think it's difficult to shortlist, because if I just look at from the recruiter point of view, because most of the time, and I think that's a standard fashion we have seen, especially in the APAC countries, people, they just look at the resume, look at the job, even if they know they are not qualified. Let's say CHRO, or even the executive will apply for the CHRO role. So I think that's a fashion there. So I think we need something which can filter these resumes, and we just get a handful of it, and we know, yes, these are the 5 resumes where we just need to go through, invest our time, and then process it further, rather than going to 50, 100 or 200 these things.
Nice,
Hi,
thanks.
there is a question.
Yeah.
No. Yes, hi, Rahul. Thanks for the. This is Simeon here from Chennai.
Yes, Simeon.
So thanks for the inputs. And how long you guys are using this? And just see, the question from my side is, what is the result which you got from the AI tool? Because similarly from the tradition recruitment, for example, give a quote also. For example, before AI, you might have achieved 100 joiners per month, right? So, and after AI, what would be the result and how it is translated? Because ultimately AI tool gets the quick resumes and other things, the process is simplified, all the things is fine. But however, what is the result we got from this? What is the live result or report you have after this AI tool implementation?
That's right. Okay. See, the result from this tool implementation was definitely the productive time of my hiring manager has considerably reduced, and I can see the output of it through the NPS score, which we basically monitor internally, which is Net Promoter Score, the feedback which we take from the hiring managers. And if you look at the hiring numbers, yes, the hiring numbers have definitely, because the whole cycle time has reduced. Because earlier, when I say cycle time, the sourcing need to be done, then the hiring managers need to invest their time, then the interviews used to happen for, let's say, 5, 6, 7 people, and then the whole cycle time has definitely reduced, because the pipeline, the funnel has reduced. It has become more specific, so the investment at each level has reduced, so the cycle time has drastically reduced. Okay. But yes, the joining time, because that is independent of the AI. When I say joining time, means every organization have 3 months or 6 months of the notice period and all those, so the AI cannot negotiate that. So definitely, so I think the joining time remains the same.
The turnaround, joining time and turnaround time in closing the position, that remains the same, right?
No, the turnaround time has definitely reduced in closing the position. When I say closing the position, if you're talking about only to the offer letter level, yes, that has reduced. But when you are, if you're looking at the turnaround time till the time the person joins into the organization, then that is something which we, so I think because that is not under our control, because the notice period, the candidate need to serve the notice period with their existing organization. And and I think that is something which they need to do. So I think if you look at, because that is independent variable which is not under the control of any platform.
Fine.
So the day,
One more, yeah, one more
go on,
question.
go on.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. So one more question. So ultimately, we are looking for the faster turnaround of submissions, and I wanted to, maybe you can explain me how the quality of the resumes with respect to the recruiter sources the profile. For example, out of 5 resumes submission, maybe 3 or 4 would be shortlisting, go to the next level. So what would be the AI record or result? Uh, how the rating is done, and what is the feedback from your technical team? How is the quality of the resumes? Because
Okay,
that tells the next everything will
great.
come in place, right? Yeah.
See, now you are talking about two things. One is on the quality and
Yeah.
another match. See, most of the platforms right now do the match based on the requirement. And the match is based on the job requisition which you create and the resume which you have in hand. And I think the drawback with these is, let me explain you, if you are able to write down a better job description or the job requisition, that is very, very important, because ultimately the algorithm is matching two things, which is definitely the two Word documents or two documents, which is the job requisition and the resume. And the people also need to write down their good resumes. However, so and I think there are other things also which you can definitely take care to write down. For example, to write down the good job requisition, I told, while you are having the deep dive calls with the hiring manager, once you receive the job requisition, then I think these platform helps you to understand what are the different adjacent skills, what are the different skills which is going in the market, so that you can fine tune the job requisition. That is on the one hand. On the another hand, which is not under your control, is the resume, the quality of resume which you are getting, because ultimately the match need to be there between the resume and the job requisition. So there, what you can do is, and there are some of the add-on features which you can use, is the video interviews, where I think once you get the resume, you can have the pop-up questions, and you can basically also record the responses, and then you can match these two, the video interview response and the matching response, which will help you to understand whatever the candidate they have written in their resume, is that true or whatever it is. So I think that will help you to do that. So that is more on the matching side I'm talking about. Now coming to the quality of the hire, because that's a separate subject which you're talking about. I have recently developed an algorithm internally, and then that is under the UAT right now, which basically defines the quality. When we look at the quality, so you need to look at a lot of other parameters. And let me explain you how we have done the quality of hire, how we have designed the algorithm for quality of hire. We looked at pre-joining attributes also. Pre-joining attributes, which includes from which school he passed out, what was his base location, or let's say his birth location, and his school location, and what was his first job, what was the jobs of the first activities of the first job. So we look at the pre-hiring attributes also, which involves everything. Then we also look at the post-hiring attributes. For example, and the post-hiring attributes, I'm talking about the historical data, because then you have to look at, first you need to have the historical data. If you understand the AI, and when you're developing the algorithm, then the algorithms generally get trained or developed on the historical data. So, and then we also look at the post-hire attributes. What was the performance he or she has, whether they were basically there were any confirmation extensions, if they were in sales, what was their QBR, what was their sales achievements, what sort of accounts they were handling. So these were the post joining and this thing. So you pull out the historical data, you basically, and then the historical data, you look at the people on the pre-hiring and post-hiring, you develop the model, and then you train the algorithm, which basically start predicting the quality of the hire. But if you ask me, then that takes a lot of effort, and I think sometime I'm sure companies like Skillate will definitely come up with something for the quality of hire also. But I think this will help you, and along with this, algorithm can also predict the quality of the hire score also. And currently, if you ask me, the accuracy rate, which I think in the technical terms we call it as F1. So the F1 score of my algorithm is not very high. It's around 62%, which means in 62% of the cases, it is able to predict the right quality. And I think for the quality of hire, you need to wait, because when the new joinee comes in, and when the first confirmation happens on the 6 months, the first appraisal happens after, let's say, 9 or 12 months. So I think that is the cycle. You need to wait for that data to see. But I think once you have that cycle, the quality of hire can easily be predicted. So I talked about two ways of predicting the quality of hire. One was definitely this way, where you can have the algorithm the way we have developed and on the pre and the post hire attributes. So we have done that. The another part is where you use some allied features. For example, the video interviews, where you can have some pop-up questions in the video interviews which can be recorded by the participants, and I think from there you can basically have some idea of the quality, but not the exact idea. The exact idea you will get more from the algorithm which I talked about recently. So I think quality of hire is again a big subject, which is a big challenge for any of the organizations.
Right. One point which is related to that. Thanks for your explanation. Will that AI tool looks on the keywords or maybe on the project base? For example, so is that anything related to, for example, in Naukri and Monster, that is also, they're also using it. So the keywords related to that, we are getting resumes. For example, will that AI tool help us in get the resume with respect to the project base? Because why I'm asking this question is, predominantly the customer, see, it is not required one word of Java is mentioned in the resume, right? So how much project, what is the experience of Java he has done in out of 5 years or 3 years, whatever you worked, wherever you worked on this, right? So that, will that able to find out, because so parameter, shortlisting parameter is a critical part in AI, understood? Because rather than recruiter sits in the computer and then source profile and identify, that is different. So to cut short that, we are getting this. But will that AI tool look on the project also, or only on the keywords what we are given? Because you said job description is matters how we create, right? Job description, we have a complete control on this. See, according to that, we can able to modify the JD, right? But we cannot able to do on the resume from the candidates. So we do not have any control on this. So how the AI works on this?
Okay, see, if you look at, let me first explain that AI is not a simple, Anand, please correct me if I'm wrong, is the elastic search, or let's say the semantic search, which you are just doing, which is you just put the keyword and it basically matches the keyword and throws you the result. Not at all. Then that is simply a search, which your keyword search, you can use the layman language. So AI is not a keyword search, let me put it in that way. It basically, and I think, let me get into slightly deep, when we use NLP, which is natural language processing, it basically understands the requirement from your job descriptions, so I think LSTM is long and short term memory, where basically it basically breaks the sentences into so it breaks the sentences, understand and record into the memory, and understand what sort of profile you're looking at. Rather, so just think AI is just like any human searching for the resume, where you basically look at the job description, then you make a synopsis in your brain, and then you start looking at the different resumes, and then you say, okay, this resume matches, so let's pull out this resume. So AI does the same thing. It's not the keyword search.
Okay. Yeah. I'm done.
Okay, so go on.
Yeah, go on, Simran.
No, I'm done. Look, I think.
Okay. Rahul, I had a follow-up question on this. Basically, when we look at success factors being implemented, I mean, we are pretty new to it, and our team is, still learning on a lot of parameters. Now, when I bring in Skillet, I'll have to understand from your experience that when we look at talent acquisition as a function, you will have certain metrics to follow. You'll have your planning metrics, you'll have efficiency metrics, then you have your sourcing metrics and your process metrics. So when I look at Skillet, I mean, I had the opportunity to interact with Skillet team, I believe, say around 4 to 5 months back, when we discussed and debated over these topics. So I wanted to know how, what were the challenges that you faced on complying Skillet and success factors to all the metrics that you follow within the organization, because at the end of the day, if those two things are not aligned, that creates a little bit of a problem. So I just wanted to understand, how did you, what are the challenges you faced, and how did you overcome those challenges?
Good. So I think before I get into this, so I'm not using Skillet as a platform right now, but I interact with I think Anand a lot, because before I met Anand, we have already implemented another platform. But I think the way Anand has developed, we have been interacting very frequently in NASCOMs and SHRMs and all those. So the way he has developed the entire platform is again very, very great, and I think cost effective also. Let me put it in that way. So I think from that point of view, and yes, I have used Skillet in a lot of my, especially actually the quality of hire project which I was doing, and from the historical data I have to look at the match and all those. So I've used Skillet in that way. So I've used part of it. But having said that, see, just think, and before I get into the specific answer to this question, let me also share with you. See, when you use any cloud platform like SuccessFactors or any other cloud platform, you will see there will be some shortcomings in each of these cloud platforms. Because you can never get 100% because they develop it for the entire customer base, and it's not only for you. Otherwise, you could have gone for the on-prem, not for the cloud. But the beauty of SuccessFactors is basically, if you look at, they have something called SAP apps. So you go to the apps, and if there's something which is missing in SuccessFactors, which is more important for you, you can go and use the apps. And these apps are nothing. These are the part of the entire SuccessFactors, or let's say SAP ecosystem, which is just like a bolt-on solutions onto your core SuccessFactors or any other SAP solutions which we use, whether it's FICO, FICO, or you use Ariba, because I use a lot of systems like this. So I think then you can use it. So now coming to the specific questions of to that, whatever parameters you have, whatever metrics you have for reporting your hiring analytics, first of all, it is independent of whatever add-on features you are using, for example, Skillet and all those. So I think it is independent, because it is just a platform where when the resumes is traveling to ATS, it's getting into basically, just think pipeline ki tarah, just like a pipeline, water is flowing, and then you have put a separate joint, whether the water is flowing through, let's say a different building and then coming back into your building, but you are actually getting the water in your building only, but you have just basically routing the water through a different platform. So that is one. So all your metrics and everything remains the same. However, with these platforms, and they are using AI, and I think besides whatever the standard metrics you have with you, you can also use some of the intelligent metrics which the AI can figure out. Let me give you the example. And this is the problem which I saw in my company also. See, every industry is undergoing a transformation. We all know, whether it's a software, telecom, manufacturing, every industry is undergoing a transformation. When you go and have that strategic discussion or future-rated discussion with the business managers or the leaders, sometimes they know they have the clarity, sometimes they don't have the clarity. But I think the beauty of these AI engines is they tell you, for example, you're looking for a customer success managers. So these platforms will help you to understand how and what are the different skills of the customer success manager is there in the market, because they are not only in the Indian market, they get trained on the European markets, the West world, because the West world is definitely progressive and they're much ahead of us, especially from the transformation point of view and that point of view. So there you get to know what are the new things. So I think, so you can use the different type of this thing. For example, you are hiring a head of HRIS and you have a specific requirement, but when you are looking at having a discussion with your hiring managers, a consultative discussion, again, I call it as a consultative discussion, there you can basically go and tell them, okay, these are the skills you want, but you may also like, because this is how the role may evolve or is evolving in the market, and you can have that more dialogue with them rather than it's a monologue where they say, take this, search, and give it to us. Does that help?
Yeah, to some extent, yeah, it does. Because in fact, even we have been interacting with a lot of platforms lately. You spoke about the video interview platforms where the candidate got his responses. That is something which is booming at the moment, and definitely there's a lot of traction towards that, and for that. So I also wanted to know, when it comes to video interview platforms, right? So what would be your take on the authenticity? Because at times what happens is there would be either a one-way interview or a two-way interview, and there are even platforms that have come in who use industry experts to evaluate your resources from an external source, and then they come to you stating that this is what a candidate is all about. So is it do you feel that this kind of an approach would be feasible for any organization, or if you can take this as a case study for your organization as well?
Okay, interesting. See, definitely when you talk about the video interviews, and when I was referring to the video interviews, I was just referring where where you are not in front of the candidate, but there's some pop-up questions which is coming up, and the candidate is recording his or her answer. And see, the beauty of these video interview platforms is the one which I'm referring to is they have a lot of video analytics built into it. When you say video analytics, they also have the risk and the fraud analytics at the back end. If you're trying to read through something based on your behavior, based on your responses, based on your eye movement, or based on your facial expression, basically it records the authenticity of the response. It is just like, because in psychometric also you have sometimes you have 15, 20 or 30 or 40 questions. The reason is this, because the same questions get asked in a multiple ways, because you just try and gauge the response or the confidence level or the trust level of that candidate, and that's why you ask in multiple ways. So it is more like that. See, and let me see, all these technology and the analytics will help you. They all are the enablers. They cannot replace the human one. So I think, so somewhere you need to trust your hiring managers. Yes, you can take it to the 80% or 70% of it, but still the 30 and the 20% is in the hiring manager. So I think he need to interview and he need to look at all these things. So I think that is very, very important.
Okay, so I'll just take a little bit of a detour now. So I'll ask Anand to maybe share his presentation on Skillate as a platform, and then come back for Q&A after that, if that's okay with everyone. So Anand, can I ask you to share your screen and take it away?
Yeah.
Just try and keep it short so that we have some more time for Q&A at the end.
Yeah, right. So I'll just be 1 minute taking time, right? Because I think we have a lot of people from LTTS. So hi everyone. The good part with L&T Group is I think we are already working with 3 different entities: L&T Construction, L&T Finance, and now L&T Hydrocarbon. And C. Jayakumar, who is the HR head of L&T Construction, has been, I think, promoted to CHRO as a group level, and he is our point of contact from L&T Construction. So this is about L&T Group and Skillate engagement already. Over to the next steps, wherein I'm sharing the screen. And please let me know once you all are able to see it.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay. I think whatever we have discussed from Rahul and Simon and team perspective, right? So a lot of things are already being covered from the presentation point of view. So from the Skillate as a company, we are an advanced decision-making engine to make hiring easy, fast, and transparent. So why a company exists, right? So we have all possible, let's say, HRMS or ATSs. We work with job boards, we work with staffing companies, but still we believe at the core of the heart that we need to make our hiring process optimized. We at Skillate aspire to do exactly similar. So first challenge, which I believe was having a detailed discussion already. I was sometimes thinking that you guys have already seen my presentation, right? So the challenges in modern recruitment. So I think Simon and Rahul were having a very detailed discussion on this, right? So whether it is a keyword matching, whether it is a contextual matching, whether it is a domain relevance that we are talking about. So I'll make it very, very simple, right? So let's say we have one requirement, Java developer role, right? Wherein we are looking for Java developers. There are 2 types of candidate. One is a girl who is a Java developer keyword written in the resume, and C is a software developer itself, right? The second person, boy, who is written in the resume, experienced in hiring Java developer, right? So as a keyword, the person has written Java developer in the profile, but the fact is he's a recruiter. Belongs from talent acquisition function, right? So as far as the requirement is concerned, we have a Java developer requirement, and the girl matches the requirement, and boy definitely does not match with the requirement, even if the keyword was there in the resume, right? So how we are matching is not with the help of keywords, but with the help of personas. So here the persona means I'm looking for a Java developer who is a software developer or software industry, rather than a recruiter who has written a Java developer as keyword, right? So in the nutshell, we have written that traditional candidate screening is resume keyword matching, but the resume keyword matching is not the right candidate, right? So there are hundreds of people who will write the similar set of keywords. Let's make it little more complex. Let's say domain relevance, right? So we have a sales position in BFSI industry. Let's say HDFC Bank is hiring relationship manager. and the person that they are looking for is sales, business development, client engagement, account management, etc. So what SDFC will do is they'll prefer to hire from ICICI Bank, from Yes Bank, from Axis Bank, Kotak Mahindra, and not from the similar set of keywords like, let's say, sales, business development, account management, or client engagement from, let's say, a company like More, right? A company like Metro, a company like some of the retail chains that we see, Godrej, right? So it's not about the keyword that the person has written, but the domain relevance wherein the keywords are there, but I belong from BFSI industry and I'll prefer a guy from that BFSI industry. Let's say a guy who is working in TCS, but deployed in a pharmaceutical company, right? So let's say a guy is a Java developer, but working in Pfizer from last 3 years. So the guy will not be equally relevant for Morgan Stanley. The guy will be relevant for GSK, right? The guy will be relevant for Ranbaxy. So that kind of domain relevance we have to have, that we have to capture from the company perspective, right? So this is one challenge that we see at scale in modern recruitment. The second challenge is, right, phone screening, which becomes very, very important a lot of times, wherein we have to get some data which are beyond resume, right? So let's say I found the best possible matched profile, but the guy is from Harvard, right? The guy is from IIT Bombay and a fresher guy is making 25 lakh salary, and it is not in my budget, right? For a certain job role, some of the questions matters like, are you okay to work in night shift, right? Do you know a certain specific language, let's say Kannada or Tamil, right? So these are some of the information that we look for, which are beyond resume, but becomes very important as far as hiring is concerned. One of the important question was notice period, which I think Rahul was focusing a lot, right? So notice period, we in the dynamic era in which we are living as of today, notice period matters a lot. And sometimes for the role, 3-month notice period looks too far, right? Second problem statement, what we have as far as phone screening is concerned is candidate availability, right? So we are living in an era wherein not just hiring managers, but candidates are also too busy with their own schedule. So how we can map the candidate availability along with the hiring manager's availability is one of the challenge that we see. And there is a lot of scheduling and rescheduling that happens always, right? And these two things are completely repetitive and tedious tasks which a recruiter has to take care day in and day out, right? So these are the two key findings what we have in recruitment, which we can solve with the help of tech product what we have. Anything, any specific aspect that we want to ask, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, you continue. If anyone has a question, you can just put it in the chat, and I'll ask the question.
So, yeah, right. So one of the Skillate customer stories, right? So we are working with a large private sector bank having some 20,000 employees and 4,000 annual hires. So the challenge, what they had was, right? So they're a team of about 130 HR BPs, and the team work in silos with differences in hiring procedures. And JD overlap, right? So I think Rahul and Simon and everybody else was mentioning wherein we have to have a good job description, right, to match the profile along with the requirement. So we say is what we say at the product is tech has its own limitation, right? If we'll send the garbage in, we'll get the garbage out to make it little data heavy. So what we have pulled from the report was, right, from the company, this company that we are talking about, how many jobs are having less than 15 word as count. So how many words, I'm not talking even about AI, right? I'm talking about, because success factors, let's say you are using success factors, then you have hundreds and thousands of jobs, right? So how many of those jobs have less than 15 words? What we found is on day one, there were 37% of the jobs which were less than 15 words. Why we put 15 words? If any job description is of less than 15 words, it means it has a significant problem, and we can't have a decent job description of 15 word count, right? That has given us, that has given the confidence that yes, we have something major which is broken in the system, right? How we can do it better? How Skillate will do it better? Because in this 37% of the case, Skillate will definitely fail in whatever things that we will do. Repetitive tasks done manually by the recruitment team and resulting in wastage of time and dependency of agencies which is obviously an additional cost. So what are the things that we have done for them, right? So I think Rahul was mentioning that they have a repository of about 10 lakh resume. I think in LTTS also, we must be having a repository of 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 lakh resume, right? So similarly, I think the client of ours, they had a repository of about 4.5 lakh resume. The problem statement, what they had was, Anand, we have some 23 lakh people who are working in BFSI industry overall, right? I'm talking about white collar job. But out of that 4.5 lakh resume we already have. And what we are seeing that for every new position that we are closing, right, there is 16% of the chance that resume is already there with us, but we are not able to harness that data at scale, right? There were two reasons for that. Reason number one, uh, this is the limitation, right? Wherein we are not able to process that 4.5 lakh resume with the present opening that we have. To give an example, let's say at one hand, I have an opening of relationship manager, Andheri, Mumbai. And at the same time, we have 4.5 lakh resume. How we can match this 4.5 lakh resume with the present opening and find the best 100 or 500 profiles just by the click of a button, right? This Skillate has enabled to this company, wherein in about 3.5 seconds, we are able to process that entire repository and able to find the best 100 or 500 profiles, right? The first problem. The second problem was, it's great that we found the best 100 or 500 candidates. This is the extension of the product that we have developed with 2 or 3 of our customers, wherein I, as a recruiter, is not going to call those 100 people who have applied, let's say 3 months or 6 months before, and I want to check whether they are looking for the opportunity as of today, right? So let's say Anand has applied to LTTS 3 months back, and Anand has changed from, let's say, Infeed to TCS, right? So Anand is not looking for the opportunity as of today, and that data is missing within SuccessFactors, right? So there will not be a recruiter who will be calling 100 different Anands and finding who are looking for the opportunity as of today. So what we have done for them is, you click a button, we'll send a chatbot link to all those 100 candidates who are best matching with the requirement, right? And that chatbot will come as a notification via email and SMS. So let's say Anand, in this case, will receive an SMS and email saying, hey Anand, your profile has been matched with this requirement. Are you looking for the opportunity as of today, right? And that email and SMS will have a unique link, which will become a chatbot, right? And that chatbot will start asking few questions, which has been configured at the backend, right? And these are few extra information that we want to ask from the candidate, like what is your notice period, right? Have you done some PMP certification? What kind of, even for some field sales role for banking industry, we used to ask the salary information upfront, right? So are you open to work in SIFT? So all those questions we ask from the candidate with the help of a chatbot, which can be configured on the backend, and the output of that conversation comes back on Skillate. And the interesting part is we can even map SuccessFactors wherein all the updated data, right? So in this case, Anand has switched from Infy to TCS, and SuccessFactors was not having that information. With the help of chatbot, we have captured that data, and we'll even update that information within SuccessFactors so that the entire data or entire information within SF will be always fresh, right? We generate AI-backed scores for indexing candidates. Indexing for us means matching the profile along with the requirement. And we do that on the basis of 3 parameters broadly, which are experience, education, and skill set, right? We can have a detailed discussion on this offline after this conversation. Then comes JD assistant, right? So we were saying like 37% of the job description we're having less than 15 words. So what we have understood that this is the problem which companies want to focus on. I think I'm sitting in SAP, one of the best company to work for as an awardee that they have got, right? So a lot of companies now focus on employer branding, and employer branding starts with, I'll say, attracting the great talent, which starts with how good we write the job description. The moment I say I'm looking for a Java developer, 2 to 3 years of experience, it does not make sense what exactly the requirement. We have to have a robust JD. So what we have done, built a JD assistant, which has been trained on about 3 lakhs job description. I think Rahul, the time you have met last time, this feature we were not having. So JD
That's
assistant,
right.
wherein you click a button, will also analyze entire JD, right? JD and we will also recommend what are the things that you have missed, right? So let's say I'm looking for a BTech for mechanical. I'm looking for a BTech role for computer science, right? So BTech can be written in 5 different ways: B.Tech, Bachelor of Technology, BE, etc. Right? So this is where the AI thing comes into play, or the data set or the training data set which we had comes into play. And I can show you everything live offline after this discussion, right? Removing a duplicate candidation and improving overall transparency. This is something that I think this discussion has started with Skillate and Rahul in his office in Gurgaon. And accordingly, I think we have come up with this solution. So what we at Skillate offers is a 360-degree recruitment solution on top of some of the existing platform that you are using. It starts with creating a job rec. We have a JD assistant, which will help you analyze the entire job description and will give you a score in between 0 to 100, which will help us understand how robust the job description is. And we are not just stopping there, but also recommending the user what are the things that you might have missed while writing the JD. And the moment we'll write a single word, the score will change or the recommendation will change, and everything is live. Second is sourcing bit, right? So how to make smart careers page or internal database. So smart careers page, what we have seen that, let's say we are using success factors or even the homegrown system, L&T construction, I can give an example wherein we have empowered them, right? So let's say careers page, people have to go there and fill a lot of form, right? A long form to pre-fill a lot of things which were already there in the resume. So what we do is, say the candidate, you upload the resume and all those information will be pre-filled. I'm not saying that it will work with 100% accuracy. You have to clean that data. It works with about 93% accuracy as of today, and will make the careers page a smart careers page on day one. Second is internal database of, like, let's say 4 lakh, 5 lakh or 10 lakh resume, and how we can play around with that to close the positions what we have right away. And it's a completely automated with the help of the matching capability at scale with the CPUs and GPUs what we have, along with the chatbot interaction that people can make according to their convenience. Nobody as of today wants to receive a cold call, ask because people are busy in meetings, traveling, etc. But as far as the chatbot is concerned, we have seen that the adoption rate is really, really good because the person can interact according to their convenience, right? The third is resume matching, which is the core strength and the capability of Skillate where we have started, right? So how we can match the profile along with the requirement and stack rank the resumes in descending order of relevancy. Fourth is intelligent chatbot. We have already discussed that parameter, which is after 3, right? Wherein we want to ask some additional information from the people. We can do that just by triggering a chatbot to about hundreds and thousands of people, and we just wait to get the result. I've seen the responses in, let's say, 3 minutes to 7 minutes. And I was so surprised that 8th minute from the time we have triggered the chatbot, one candidate was on the interview stage, right? So that piece, we have done it really well. Then comes the communication and feedback, right? So I think one of the important piece which we believe is missing in the entire recruitment journey is candidate feedback, right? So it's not that candidates feel bad about getting rejected. They feel bad because they are not being heard, right? They don't know whether the resume has been seen, and if they have been rejected, then why. So we have made some automated templates wherein as soon as the candidate score is below a certain threshold, we can reject all of them, and candidate will be notified saying, yes, your profile has been seen and it has been rejected. And if we want to do some advanced discussions, then these are not the roles that you are suitable for. And one thing, automated interview scheduling is something that we are working on. I think this is a requirement from one large IT services company, wherein how we can schedule the interview and reschedule the interview in a completely automated way. So let's say there are 3 stakeholders in recruitment in general, right? So one is candidate, one is hiring manager, and one is recruiter. Imagine the candidate and hiring manager calendar, right? And we both are not synced with one another. Then recruiter is doing every time manual, the scheduling and rescheduling part of the interviews. Now imagine a situation wherein a recruiter is having access of hiring manager calendar, and recruiter is enabled with a chatbot who is interacting with the candidate on behalf of hiring manager, right? And we are scheduling the interview in a completely automated way. So this is something that is, I'll not say live. I can show the small part of the product what we have, but this is something that we are currently working on very aggressively, so that the entire interview scheduling piece will become completely automated. So how our model is integrated, or I'll say pre-integrated with SAP SuccessFactors, right? So this is something I get a leverage after sitting in SAP office and working with SAP even development team to get this integration happen. So we post a job in SAP SuccessFactors and complete API integration wherein we get the job, right? We source the profiles via different sources like CareerSpace, job boards, agencies, and all those candidates will come very, very smoothly. And we have handled lakhs and lakhs of cases. And then existing resume repository, I think Rahul was mentioning 10 lakh resume, which I believe is a very good number, right? So I think how we can leverage the resume repository and close the positions. So this is the entire workflow what we have between Skillate and SuccessFactors. And this is the detailed diagram how Skillate works on the backend, right? So it's a complete NLP
So,
engine to yeah.
Anand, a quick time check. So we have about 10 minutes left for the call. So if you can finish or close in the next maybe 3-4 minutes, and we still have about 5-7 minutes for Q&A. Thanks.
Yeah, right. So I think this is the back end of Skillate what we have, and then this is the last slide what I have, which is Skillate's integration with SuccessFactors. So I believe we all are familiar with this UI, right? As the part of integration, what we do is, or we can do is, right? You can see Skillate score here, wherein in the candidate list page within SuccessFactors, we are able to populate that Skillate score, which is the source of relevancy, right? And in the same screen, we can take the candidature forward. We don't need to migrate from one screen to another to leverage Skillate AI capability, right? And couple of benefits what we have seen is mentioned on the lesson side. The best candidates on SuccessFactors on Skillate AI matching score, improve transparency and accountability in your recruitment process, wherein we have seen that sometimes SAP or SuccessFactors being a very large product, it becomes little complex, which we have made it little transparent or little simpler UI, right, from the product perspective, and map candidates from various sources in a single place, and improve candidate experience and save hiring managers time. So these are some of the key things that we look for as far as Skillate along with SuccessFactors is concerned. So this is me, Anand, Chief Business Officer at Skillate, and these are my coordinates. So over to you. I believe we were on time. So would like to have some of the questionnaire, then any of you want to have a discussion around. I can play around with the slides also if somebody wants to specify certain slides. Over to you.
Thank you, Anand. Just for the sake of feedback, I've just launched a poll. If all the participants could actually, give us your feedback, that will be really nice. And I would also like to open up with a question. So this was the first session that we've done. We've had a few participants. So if you were to look at your existing HR organization, whether it is recruiting, whether it is performance management, or whether it is any other part of HR, what other topics do you think would be of interest to each one of you that we can bring for the next month meeting? Also, maybe a question to the L&T team. So if you were to look at the top 3 challenges when it comes to recruitment, what would those be? So that, maybe in the next session or sometime later, whenever we are able to, do another session on recruitment, we can try and address them. So anyone from L&T want to take a shot at what the top 3 challenges are when it comes to recruitment as we speak today? So you'll have to unmute yourself and then speak.
Mukesh, Shashwat to decide. So basically what we face at the moment is the time at which the resources are required. In fact, most of our customers that we work with are in need of resources ASAP, right? So that is one. The cost is something that needs to be seen, because now there's a lot of competitive hiring going on across the industry. So a resource, in fact, ends up holding 2 to 3 offers at one point of time. So sustaining those resources not only with respect to remuneration, but how to sustain them with respect to other areas. So that is something, the relationship building basically between the organization and a joiner who is supposed to join the company. That, and the third part would be basically again on the quality of the people that we get. Now, if we look at the engineers with 3-4 years experience now, and the people who were on the past decade, there's a lot of variation, a lot of difference, because nowadays people have started working on specific areas only, and they don't go beyond that. So that is a major impact. That is, I mean, recently also I saw one of the articles where India needs to hire around 2000, like 20,000 odd employees, I believe, right, to get into a proper skill area. So these are the 3 areas where we face. And as a request from only my side, I don't know about my team, I would be very happy to find, or have a discussion with industry experts on how to sustain resources after offering. Because till the offer phase, anybody who needs a job will comply with whatever you say, if he or she has to get an offer from you. What needs to be done after that? That's the beauty of the other side of it, what we look at, I believe.
Thanks. So Rahul, do you have anything to say or add to that?
See, I think these are the interesting issues, and I think all the organizations are basically struggling with this, especially after extending the offer. We call it as a turnaround times, where I think how many people, let's say we have sent an offer to 100, how many of them they are joining. So I think the most important piece in this is the engagement. How do you keep, because generally after extending the offer letter, the level of engagement with these participants are relatively candidates are relatively very low. And I think it's true also because of the work pressure. It's not human to basically get in touch with them on this piece. And these people, they have a lot of queries also. And I think a lot of excitement need to be created in them. I think that is where the technology helps you. And I think I am experimenting right now internally where how can we keep them engaged till the time they basically join in, engage by sharing some of the updates about the company, give them the platform, just like the chatbot Anand talked about, where if they have any query, they can just basically get the responses around, let's say, because a lot of people, they will have queries around the policies and all those. They send an email to the recruiter. Sometimes the recruiter is not able to respond on time or whatever it is. So I think that is the level of engagement which is required. And I think these are the people who are outside your company, who don't know about anything about your company. They need the prompt responses. And I think that is how you can do that. So I think definitely very interesting area. We can touch base on this in detail in the follow-up conversations. And then we can look at how I am trying to address that internally in some of these things. And we can do that. Another point which you talked about, I think that is a big issue with any of the IT companies. And I think that issue I'm also trying to look at, what is the right salary that should be offered, because we also have to look at the internal parity. I cannot offer somebody who's at the 13 lakhs and internal parity is 13 lakh and somebody is good, and I cannot offer them 16 lakhs because I have 10 people sitting inside and I will have much more attrition than the hiring which I'm doing right now. So the internal parity also, there also you can use the technology, and I can share how I am basically looking at introducing a technology in this area. So I think very interesting points, because recruitment, as I told you, is a complex. It's more complex than any of the HR functions, and it has a direct impact on the business. So I think so let's connect on this, and I think I can share with you some of the experiences or some of the tools or approaches I'm using internally.
Thanks, Rahul. Thanks, Rahul. I've also posted the link to the WhatsApp group that we have for the HRSIG. If anyone on the call is not already part of the group, I request that you join the group and use these groups to have these conversations. These meetings need not be the only time you talk to each other. You've had a conversation with Rahul, so he's already on the group. If you have any question, you can always post it there. Rahul, if you have anything, any suggestions, anything that you like, please post it there. The idea of having a WhatsApp group is so that these conversations need not stop in these meetings. They can go on from there on as well. So maybe one pointer that I would like everyone to think about before leaving, and maybe Vinod or Delighten, if you have to add something before we kind of conclude this meeting, is that while there is a whole lot of things that a lot of technology solutions and a lot of startups address and a lot of organizations look at doing is recruitment. When it comes to recruiting from outside of the organization, there is very, very little which is done in order to look at people inside the organization who could actually benefit from being in a different role within the same organization as well. They may not be normally applying, but as an organization, you might feel, there might be candidate who could be much better in a different role than what they are already doing. So that is one area which at least I have not seen too many people thinking about or addressing or even writing about. So just as a thing to think about. So,
Mukesh, along with this, and I think there's one more area, and I think thank you for touch basing on this. And I think that is also one of the challenge which we are trying to solve internally. But the another area is because in today's world, a lot of organization have to lay off people. Okay. So, and my organization is doing it in a much better way right now. And so how do we basically help these people to get the job outside? And we have a platform, again, we have a technology platform, which basically helps in that way. And I can basically discuss about that because that is also very, very important because unfortunate because of the industry trends, market environment, socioeconomic conditions, organizations have to take that hard decisions. But if there is a way you can manage it in a more smoother way, then I think because all this talent is getting back into the same pool from where you are hiring and your reputation, and I think branding is very, very critical. So I think that is also one of the another area which we can touch base.
very interesting, Rahul. Thanks for touching upon that. So Vinod, Delighten, if you have anything else to add, maybe now is the time. And then I'd like to, Yeah, Vinod, go on.
Hey, yeah, hi. Guys, this is just a start. We want to make this SIG into a much bigger forum and align it with what we do with Indus as well, the SAP India Users Group. So thanks to all of you, Rahul, the LTTS team, Anand as well on the call, who managed to give this that first start. And it's always the first spark that takes a lot of time, and then the fire goes up without anybody realizing, right? So I'm really looking forward to that, and look forward to a continued engagement from all of you, and make this into a much bigger forum by the end of this year. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Vinod.
you.
Delighten, you have
Thanks,
anything to say? Just
Yeah, same here. I think the same words for everyone. I think it was a first one, so even we were like quite jittery about how the participants and what would be the participants, what is the size and all. But yeah, it's always the first stepping stone. I think we have started with this initiative and touched upon a very crucial, important issue, which is recruitment and how we are able to get it out mitigated through some solutions within the ecosystem. So I think thanks to everyone who had joined, and we will inform you the next schedule on what we want to plan it out for the next time for this.
the registration page, the registration link or the confirmation link that you got today, you can actually directly, there is a way for you to add this meeting onto your calendar. It's already set for the entire year. So same day, same time for the entire year, every month, repeats every month. So I would request you to add it to your calendar so that you don't miss attending the next sessions. Join the WhatsApp group. We will keep posting on the WhatsApp group as to the agenda for the next meeting. And you can use it to have a conversation, free-flowing conversation there. And also please spread the word, both internally as well as externally when you meet others as well. So with that, thank you everyone. First meeting is always, as Vinod and Delighten said, difficult to start off with. We've done that, and I only hope, and I'm sure that it'll only grow bigger and bigger as we go along. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Bye.
I will share the recording a little later. Thank you.
Thank you.